Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rich from richdgmono, and this is Record Collector Confessions. I wasn't going to make this a Record Collector Confessions at first because I didn't really sit down thinking I had a particular topic, but a topic emerged, and so yeah, we're going to mainly talk about eBay today and my re-entry into the competition, as you might put it. So also just a general update on where I'm at with collecting. For one reason or another, things have been good for me. They've been okay for me financially, and that's given me the freedom to kind of collect without having to really watch my budget with an eagle eye, and I'm very grateful for that. I have been sticking to my $150 limit on a single record. I have been thinking about being a little bit more lenient with myself with that regarding raising it. So I've been thinking maybe since, you know, with all this inflation stuff and the value of records increasing, I might give myself a little bit more headroom and push my max to 200. I've been doing a fair amount of purchasing the last couple weeks. It's actually been mostly 78s so far. I've beefed up my Thelonious Monk 78 collection quite a bit in the last couple weeks. I'm excited to show some of those 78s to you all. LP wise, I really haven't gotten into too much yet, but the big change for me is that I'm back bidding on eBay. It has been a long time since I've bid on eBay. Probably 5 years. Basically, the way I thought about it was, let's be real here, the value of these records is going up. It's been going up, and I don't see that changing in the near future. I see it continuing to rise, and before all this stuff is out of my reach, I should probably be making my best effort to get what it is that I think I want now. For the last 3 or 4 years, I've basically been like resisting the price rises. I've been basically saying no. You know, 60, 75 bucks for like a black B, white B pressing of a record, even if it has the Van Gelder stamp, that's too much. Like Liberty's, like a Liberty label over 100, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's how I felt. And you know, I'm just getting to a point now where I'm like, well, you know, for me, and a lot of people say like that the value of something is really what someone is willing to pay for it, right? And you know, for me, the Van Gelder stamp is really, it's special. You know, it means a lot to me. The black white Bs were usually going for 30, 40 several years ago, and you know, they're obviously a little more now. And Liberty copies were 50 to 100 maybe typically. But, you know, those prices have gone up, and, you know, back then I would have easily, happily paid those prices. So now I feel like I'm coming around, I'm just being like, okay, if I want to stay in this game at least a little longer, I have to kind of play ball here and you know, and up my budget a little bit. And, you know, again, I'm grateful enough to say that I'm able to do that right now. I mean, we're not talking that I can go and buy a $4,000 original of Uta Hip with Zoot Sims or something like that. You know, that's that's not the kind of budget we're talking about here. But you know, I'm talking like maybe increasing my max from 150 to 200 or something like that. But yeah, I'm going down to New York City in a week, and I'm excited to do a little shopping down there. You know, I don't have my hopes up. You know, I don't necessarily expect to find insane deals and huge collections that just came in New York City. You know, all of a sudden they're just chock full of great stuff at good prices. You know, I don't usually expect that from those stores, but you know, that said, I'm still looking forward to going down there and seeing what they have. And then of course, I'm super psyched to go to Japan. And one viewer suggested that I actually kind of keep a running budget in Japan and like kind of update it as I'm going through the stores. I think that's a pretty good idea. I like that. I don't know if I'm going to have a limit, but I might actually just keep track of how much I'm spending and share it with everybody. Also, like a year ago, in my comments section, I think, at one point I said, oh, this is how much I paid for it. I mean, it's a really big deal. I said what I paid for a record, and somebody commented like, yeah, what's up with like people not talking about how much they paid? And I started to think about that, and I was like, Yeah, I agree. Like why are people not, why is this all like hush hush? Like why is it like this like unspoken rule that like you don't say how much you paid for a record? If I had to guess, there's two reasons for it. One, you may have actually paid more than you're willing to admit. The other reason would be kind of the opposite. If you got it really cheap, you might not want to brag about it. The way I think about it, I'm pretty proud of when I get good deals on records. I feel like I work really hard for those good deals. You know, and I want to share that, you know, like the thing I don't like is when collectors, when you're saying like, oh man, I want to get this record. Oh God, it's so expensive though. You know, like, I don't know, like say, oh, I want to get a Liberty Stereo Van Gelder stamped Herbie Hancock Inventions Dimensions, but I doubt I'm going to get it for less than 100 nowadays, and that's true. And then somebody will chime in and say, "Oh man, yeah, that's that. Yeah, the prices are crazy now. I got that record for $10." You know, and yeah, I'm not really too. I'm not a fan of that. So I don't know. I guess I'm sharing prices not in reaction to somebody else saying how much they paid for it or how much it is now or whatever. I actually had a lot of the second, third pressings, the vintage pressings with Van Gelder stamps that I'm after now. I had them like 6-7 years ago and I sold them. Why did I sell them? At that time, my philosophy of collecting had shifted. I had at that time decided, okay, I'm just going to collect first pressings and CDs. It was like basically two kind of polar opposites of two different kind of listening experiences. You know, I've kind of walked back on that a little bit. I'm not afraid to say that. Yeah, so I'm at a place right now where I'm kind of wanting to get back into that before the prices get too crazy. So yeah, so that's kind of landed me back on eBay. Still kind of hate Discogs. First of all, there's no auctions on Discogs, so there's like no way you're going to get a deal on Discogs in the same fashion that you could, in theory, get a deal doing an auction on eBay, winning an auction on eBay. I find that stuff is generally priced higher on Discogs, and again, I think I'm comparing it to auction end prices on eBay, not buy it nows on eBay, because buy it nows on eBay are pretty annoying too, those prices. But yeah, so Discogs is just those annoying buy it now prices. I mean, sometimes they have make an offer, but to be perfectly honest, now that we're talking about it, people almost never accept my offers on Discogs. It's like, why are you even doing a make an offer? I don't know. Sometimes I think actually they might not even realize they clicked it or that it's on. A lot of times it's like I'll ask for like 20 off and they're only willing to do like 5, you know, on like maybe like a $50, $60, $80 record or something like that. So yeah, not feeling Discogs. Really hate that I have to ask the person to send me photos. I remember Chris from Hudson Valley Vinyl years ago complaining about how like he did a story once where it was like surprise, surprise, somebody asked for photos on Discogs and then didn't end up buying the record. And that always stuck with me, kind of like, I kind of do that a lot. So I'm trying to get better at, like, if I am gonna take a chance on something on Discogs, that's exactly what it is. I'm taking a chance on it. And I usually don't ask for photos anymore. And you know, if it's something where I'm on the fence about it, I just don't get it. And I go and I look for it on eBay if, you know, and there they got the photos, and then I know what I'm actually getting. You know, and I've never really fashioned myself as a very competitive record collector. And that's another reason why I shied away from auctions for a while there. But I realized getting back into it, it doesn't take a ton of effort. You know, all I have to do really is check the listings. Like I have saved searches and I've like filtered out a bunch of stuff. Like my cap in my saved searches is like $150, so I don't see anything that's over $150. That's a huge help. And you know, I try to focus on, you know, not first pressings because I don't really even want to look at those, because if they're in nice condition, they're out of my price range. So yeah, I've got my saved searches. I only have to check in on those like once a week, really. Like maybe Saturday or Sunday morning or something, and then I check again on Monday just for fun, just see what was listed Sunday night, because it seems like a lot of good auctions end on Sundays. The hard part is keeping track of when they end, and you know, I don't know if I'm ready to pay for a sniper service, but folks on Instagram had recommended. Okay, I just looked it up. So yeah, so the service that was recommended to me that I haven't checked out yet is Gixxon. I guess you can do a couple of snipes free at a time, but you got to pay after that. So I'll have to check that out. It's probably worth doing 2 a week, you know, in case I forget. Because okay, so I've been doing this for a couple weeks now, and I totally am forgetting. When it comes to eBay, like, I really gotta ask, like, why would anybody put their bid in early, like super early, unless they didn't really want to deal with sniping and waiting till the last second? And because if you give people hours, days to react to your bid, there's some crazy bidders out there that are just gonna keep on clicking increase bid until they pass you. And obviously the logic is if you wait until like 5 seconds before the auction ends, no one can react to it. But yeah, I've won a few 78s so far by auction from paper stacks. I've watched a couple things from Charles Strictly Headies over the last couple weeks, but he's almost too popular. I feel like super popular sellers, they get these feeding frenzies going, and stuff usually gets bid up to like more than it's probably really worth to most people. So I'm watching a couple of his, but you know, I'm not getting my hopes up for that. I really like to see when like someone's selling something one-off where, like, you know, it might be off the radar for people. But the other thing that's interesting about eBay is this whole idea of people forgetting, right? The way I forgot. You know, I was watching, like, I've always wanted a Van Gelder stereo of Maiden Voyage, right? I was looking for one, and I was watching it, and it looked nice. I don't know, I forgot about it, and it sold for like, I don't know, $65. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, I probably would have bid more than that if it was in excellent condition. And so it's interesting to think that the person who won that got it for less than they would have if I had remembered. So that's got to work in the reverse sometimes too, right? There's got to be occasions where people forget to bid, and then you end up getting lucky. And you know, I think the name of the game with eBay in that respect is patience. You know, you just got to be patient, you know, and focus on the auctions, not the buy it nows. I find I get outbid a lot. I'm second place a lot, I feel like. So yeah, and I'll be reporting back and letting everybody know how I do. Yeah, hopefully I get some nice stuff for decent prices. I mean, the only alternative is like trying to find these records in person, in the wild or in stores or whatever. And like, you know, I just, you know, after doing a lot of record store shopping in America the last couple of years, you know, I just don't have a lot of faith in that process, unfortunately. So I feel like now's the time. So wish me luck. Yeah, and we will leave it there. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.